We are following some breaking news right now. The former Jacksonville Sheriff's Officer gang unit member who was arrested for child sex crimes has been sentenced to 292 months in prison. Josue Garriga was involved in a number of scandals over the last 5 years, including the shooting death of FAMU student Jamie Johnson in 2019 and the violent arrest of Lakean Woods last year, before pleading guilty to the child sex crimes brought against him earlier this year. Our Rich Donnelly was in the courtroom and he is joining us now live. So Rich, what were the arguments on both sides prior to this sentence being handed down?
Well, Anthony, I can say that we're waiting for Josue Garriga to come out of the courtroom right now. His attorneys just walked out. We'll see if he does. The defense did not argue any of the factual evidence in the case. As a matter of fact, we're going to go walk over to his defense attorneys right now and hear their reaction to the sentence.
And it's A-L-L-A-N?
A-L-A-N.
And your name, sir?
Reed, R-E-I-D, last name Hart, H-A-R-T.
So I wonder, what is your reaction to this, to what has just played out in terms of the sentencing?
Our argument was, and we believe it was valid, that there's a lot more to Mr. Garriga than this case itself. After all of his years of exemplary law enforcement service, he had a 6-month error. The judge sentenced him in accordance with the guidelines. We made legal argument why that was disproportionate to his behavior in the past. That was stellar and exemplary. The arguments we argued in the courtroom are those that we believe in, and Mr. Hart and I both believe that the sentencing guidelines score exceeded what was appropriate legally, and he will pursue his remedies in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals.
Mr. Garriga said that, and I want to quote here, that never in my life have I done anything harmful or thought about doing something harmful to children, and yet here we are.
And the judge validated that. She said that when she was considering the factors that would influence her decision, that she did not believe he was ever going to be a future threat to children. She validated that with her ruling.
Are you surprised that the number of months that this, because to my understanding, the mandatory minimum was just 10 years, but this is beyond 10 years.
These cases carry extraordinarily harsh sentencing guidelines. They do. Of course, we were surprised because we were advancing the proposition that the sentence ought to be less and more appropriate for his many, many years of not just good behavior, but stellar citizenship and law enforcement activity.
And Mr. Garriga's family was incredibly emotional in the courtroom today. They spoke very highly of him. At one point, the judge did say, though, you do realize the mandatory minimum is 10 years. Did they have an expectation that it could be less at any point?
They knew, and at the sentencing hearing, it was well described in all of the pleadings and documents that was the minimum mandatory, but these are people of faith, and they were talking about miracles, and hope is hope. And, they may have not spoken with the precision that a lawyer would have, but they certainly were speaking from the heart with regard to their hope for as much mercy as possible.
What was his mindset in just the last few minutes that you spoke with him before leaving the courtroom? What was he describing?
Explained to him the legal procedures that are now available, that he has to make a decision whether to appeal the next 14 days. There'll be a restitution hearing in January. We've described for him the issues with respect to trying to seek a designation that ensures his safety. We pointed out in our sentencing memorandum that other law enforcement officers we've been exposed to great peril, even in the Bureau of Prisons, and we're hoping to navigate that so he can be as safe as possible.
Was he sad? Was he worried?
In his case, because he's had some high-profile things in the news prior to this case, you think that this puts your client at much level of danger in the prison system?
So does the judge, and that's why she asked us about the designation, where ordinarily you would be designated to the place closest to home so your family can visit, but also conversely, and to his concern and potential peril, that's where the most news has been about his encounters with law enforcement and the civil rights action that's just been filed in this courthouse.
What was his disposition like when the sentence was read? How sad was he? Was he despondent?
Saw him. He was stoic. He accepted responsibility. He came into the courtroom well before today and acknowledged that he had done wrong, and so he knew that this appropriate punishment would be imposed. We disagree with the number, but he had already accepted responsibility, and every single witness that spoke on his behalf acknowledged that he had done the same thing. Thank you. We've got to head out.
Again, that is just the defense attorneys from former JSO officer Josue Garriga, who has been sentenced to 292 months in prison for child sex crimes that he committed against a 17-year-old girl. Reporting live outside of the federal courthouse in downtown Jacksonville, Rich Donnelly, First Coast News, on your side.